Very well, Glenn. Back after a very quick trip.
Yeah, very quick trip to Washington, there and back. And I have to tell you, I mean, listen to my voice. I am like tired from it. The president went over on Sunday, conducted all of that business, got back on Air Force One, flew all the way back. He said he flew back because he needed to do this on Charlie's birthday. He said he was going to delay it, and then he realized, oh, it's Charlie's birthday. Got to be done on his birthday, so flew all the way back. You know how much sleep he had in the 36 hours?
No.
0. Everybody else on the plane
0.
had about an hour and a half, because if you're working for the president, when he's up, you're up. And they were zombies. Everybody was zombies. And he was, I don't know how this guy does it. I mean, he doesn't take any drugs. He doesn't take, nothing non-natural goes into this guy's body. And
I mean, there's certain products at McDonald's that do go down the
go down the gullet.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. Okay, You can't say that. Nothing. Yeah, no stimulants go into his body.
He's not exactly RFK Jr.
Okay, all right, yeah, all right.
He's RFK Jr.
Yes, okay.
But considering he does not drink, he does not
doesn't take drugs.
He's very much against that stuff.
Yeah, very much. I mean, just good genetics, I think. The guy does not sleep. He just doesn't sleep.
Is that concerning for long-term health? Guy's 79 years old.
For everybody else, but he's been this his whole life. I mean, This is the way he's operated his whole life. So I don't think so. I think it's just the way he is. He just doesn't need very much sleep. But the guy is changing the world. I mean, you remember we were watching when he arrived in Egypt, and I said, I've never seen this before. I'll have to narrow this down for you because I say that several times a day now. But you know how they always, when the world leaders get together, they always stand on a stage. They get one shot. And once in a while, they'll stand on stage as they're assembling and they'll talk amongst themselves. But I've never seen a photo line with world leaders to take a picture one-on-one with the president. Okay, never seen that in my life. Okay, that's what was happening on Monday in Egypt. He was 2 hours late. Okay, and apparently, and I'm not going to divulge who, but apparently one person was upset and was like, "I'm not waiting around for this," and yet they waited around for it. They lined up. Even the king of Saudi Arabia was in the line, waiting in the line for 30 minutes while he took photos with all of the leaders around the world. They are treating him. I mean, he's changed the world. The guy knows how to use power. It's my understanding from conversations that I had piecing some things together. It's my understanding Vladimir Putin has changed with him too. Even Putin has noticed this is the guy who's kind of steering the world and is more deferential to Donald Trump. And I hope that's true. I hope that begins to play out with Ukraine.
It's quite key to understand who you're speaking with, right? Like it's not always about what you want to say or what you want. It's about what the other person wants and what they understand. Someone made the point that Donald Trump speaks Arabic better than any native speaker. And I thought that was an interesting comment. It's like, it is he seems to be able to communicate to the leaders in that part of the world.
They understand strength.
They understand it, yeah, and they react to it. And I think they don't see him as a passing, like, oh, he's here, but just wait him out. Like, they don't think he's going to change or he's going to fold on the stuff.
And they think that he's changing the world. And everybody who follows him is going to follow in these footsteps. They don't think that this is just, he's got three more years left and then Kamala comes back. They don't think that.
They think it's changed for good.
They think it's changed for good. And they think that, I believe they think J.D. Vance is going to be the next president. And I think so too. I mean,
certainly the favorite of the Republican Party.
Yeah,
obviously.
He's killing it. But then again, I saw Marco Rubio yesterday. He listens to the show. And his wife listens to every word of the show. I'm like, I hope you've noticed that we really like what Marco's doing. I mean, the guy has, and I said to him, Marco, what happened? And he's like, what? And I said, we've always been a fan of yours. I mean, we interviewed him for the first time. Do you remember the first time we interviewed him when he was running for president, the very first time?
Yeah.
And we all got into a car, you, me, and Pat. We got into a car and we did a video. We were like, this guy is amazing. He's great.
Yeah. Really liked him.
Right. Really liked him. And then he kind of got into the Senate and was kind of, I don't know, hard to pin down. I don't know what happened to him. And he immediately said, it's the president. And I said, the president is leading, yes. But there's a change in you. You are just killing it. Just killing it.
Should we jump in here for one quick sidebar of the current odds to win the presidential election in 2028?
Yeah.
Okay, so first place, this is according to Kalshi, a 32% chance, J.D. Vance. A second place, 21% chance, Gavin Newsom.
Oh, my gosh.
Third place, I mean, again, this is a prediction market. It's what people believe is going to happen. There's a lot of, this isn't an official poll or anything. Mm-hmm. Third place, 7%, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
In third place.
Comically, fourth place is also with 7%, actually, is Donald J. Trump. You may have heard of him. He's currently the president of the United States. So that would be an interesting constitutional amendment would need to occur for that to happen. Mm-hmm. Then you have Pete Buttigieg, Marco Rubio at 4%, Josh Shapiro, Kamala Harris, Wes Moore of Maryland, Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan, Andy Beshear, Kentucky.
Okay, so it's way too early.
3%.
It's way too early.
Glenn Youngkin, 2%. I'm looking at any Republicans.
Oh, I thought Glenn Youngkin. I thought you were going to say Glenn Beck, because then that would start to make sense. Everybody's that's putting their money down is insane.
Yeah. Again, I would not be betting on that market right now.
No, I would not either. But I mean, he is on top of it, and honestly, we're going to need somebody who operates like Donald Trump and can keep the republic. Keep the Constitution, because we're going to head for some really very difficult times. But anyway, back to the Charlie Kirk thing. It was very, very nice. Erica is, really gaining her voice. Only towards the end was she really kind of breaking down, but she was very good. The president was so gracious yesterday with everybody. I mean, he is really an amazing man. But it's funny because I have a picture of the two of us by the Oval, outside of the Oval. You open up the Oval office door and you walk out. Yeah, there it is. I have a picture of us, and he's right there. He's pointing to the Rose Garden. And I said, the worst thing that I think anybody's done to a first lady was done to Melania. I said, they did so many bad things, but one of them is this Rose Garden. I said, if I'm not mistaken, she just took Jackie O's exact plans and redid them. And he said, yes. And I said, I can't believe how dishonest the press is. They just want to destroy you, and they'll go after your wife on that. It's restoring the Jackie O plan. And in their press coverage, they were like, it's offensive. Jackie O would be, no, she would be happy. It was her plan. Anyway, he said, yeah, I'm going to pave over this. And I'm like, oh, my gosh. Yeah. You're going to what? And he said, no, they're going to be nice pavers, but, I'm going to pave over this. And he said, because it's useless. He said, it's grass. So women come and they stand and they're on their, in heels, and they're sinking into the grass. It's usually wet. He said, we need to be able to hold events out here. And he said, and it'd be beautiful, be unlike anything anybody's ever seen. So he starts yesterday, and he comes out and he said, this is the first time. He said, I just put these pavers down. And he said, this is the first event in the Rose Garden with these pavers. And it's absolutely beautiful. It's got like flags, on the corner. They had these special flagstones made, and really, really, it's beautiful. All the press was standing in the back. And I haven't heard word one from the press on this. Not word one. Have you heard anything about what he's done to the Rose Garden?
I did see some plans. Are these accurate plans where they were going to build kind of like another giant building on the property? Is that?
Oh, he's doing that.
Going to happen?
Oh, yeah. He's paying for it all. He's doing it all. It's a big ballroom. He's like, the country needs a ballroom. We have these state dinners. And he said, we put them on the grass. And, he said, we need a ballroom. And he said, taxpayers don't want to pay for a ballroom. I'll pay for it. So he's building it. It'll be done, he said, by 2026. sometime early spring 2026. I'll believe it when I see it, but he tends to get things done quickly.
Yeah, sure.
But the one thing I also noticed is the security perimeter of the White House is astounding. It's at least doubled. Now you don't go into that park. You can go into the park, but you can only go in certain places in the park. But I think they're moving the perimeter for security perimeter at least a block around it, all the way around.
That makes perfect sense, obviously, in this environment.
It was the first time I've seen the president in many months outside without bulletproof glass between us. I mean, he stood outside, trees in the area, buildings in the area, and he was safe outside. And it must be weird to live in that kind of bubble, but it was amazing. It was amazing. They're really doing a good job. And the entire ceremony, the guy just knows. Maybe he's just a showman. He just knows how to do things like this. Except somebody had hijacked. I mean, I think he had hijacked the music. Like 10 minutes before he comes out, it's like ABBA, Dancing Queen, is playing the Rose Garden. It was a little, but then it stopped, and you could tell when he actually picked the music, and I can guarantee you he picked it. Oh, and remember I told you last time I was in the White House, I told you that he had selected all of these paintings of all of the presidents, and he put them strategically. And when I was with him last, he said, I don't know what to do with this guy. And he had up in the hallway, kind of stuffed in a corner of the residence, the painting of Eisenhower. And I said, Eisenhower was the one who warned about everything you're dealing with right now. I said, go back and read the military-industrial complex speech. He talks about education and science and everything else. I said, he should be in your walk, because he said, I put all of the paintings down strategically, so when I turn a corner, I see a face of somebody. It reminds me, don't forget the lesson from him. Mm. Now you come down out of the residence and you turn that first corner, and he's moved the picture of Eisenhower. So the first president that he sees as he comes down the stairs is Eisenhower. It's pretty cool.
It's interesting. Do you think people see Donald Trump as a guy who thinks that way?
That's what they miss. They miss. He's really strategic in everything he does. I mean, he really knows choose your thoughts. And so he's always, you come down the stairs and he's looking at Abraham Lincoln. He turns that corner and he's now looking at Eisenhower. Every time he turns a corner, there's a Ronald Reagan. There's George Washington. He's always turning the corners and looking at people to remind him. He's a very thoughtful guy, really thoughtful, because he knows choose your thoughts, and that will move your life forward in that direction.
He seems to have a more complete understanding of history now, too. Would you say it's the second term?
Oh my gosh.
You might have that first term, obviously, business guy, and he didn't know at that point, probably.
No, his learning curve is almost straight up. The guy doesn't sleep. So I was talking to, I think, Ambassador Crowley, and she said that she walked in, in the middle of the night. Everybody's trying to get some shut-eye. And she said he's in his office with stacks of books and papers, and he's just digesting all of this stuff. She said he's up all night just reading and getting stuff done. It's remarkable. All right, back in just a second. Let me tell you about preborn. Some people say we're living in the age of progress, but if that's true, why have we grown so comfortable with throwing away the most miraculous thing of all, and that is life itself? What's happening? I talked to some Canadians on the streets of Washington. I was walking down the street yesterday, and these people said, that's Glenn Beck. Glenn Beck. And I turn around, and they were like, oh, my gosh. And I went over to them, and I greeted, and I said, where are you guys from? They said, from Canada. And I said, from Canada? How do you even know me? And they're like, oh, no, we watch. And, I talked to them about Canada, and I said, boy, what is happening with MAID? You guys are starting to kill and organ harvest like crazy. And they agreed and said, it is becoming very, very dangerous to be alive in Canada. We need to fix this. And preborn is on the front lines of abortion. You know, the truth matters now more than ever. When a mom hears a heartbeat, lives are saved. When she sees the baby in an ultrasound, lives are saved. $28 will provide that truth for a free ultrasound, and this is a chance for you to make a difference that will echo through into eternity. Answer the call, will you? It's preborn.com/Beck. That's preborn.com/Beck, or dial pound 250 on your phone and say the keyword baby. Pound 250, keyword baby. Make a donation today. Do it now, because life matters. Sponsored by Preborn. 10-second station ID. So Meta has launched a PG-13 setting for Instagram on teen accounts. I don't even know what that means.
What could go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong with that? And the drug cartels are now offering tiered bounty on the heads of DHS and ICE personnel. It's getting very, very dangerous. Really, really dangerous for ICE. And when you see what's happening in Virginia, and you see this bounty on the heads, and then you have No Kings happening this, I think it's Saturday, right? And was anybody bothered by the implied threat from Chuck Schumer, the encouragement to the violent left? He said it's time to take, action, and there needs to be people on the streets and everything else. And it just seemed like a call to direct action would not be a good thing at this time in our country's history.
No.
But No Kings is happening, and I would like to remind you, we agree, no kings. But I look at it more like the traditional sense of the founders, and you can go to glennbeck.com and get the No Kings But Christ t-shirt and merch. In fact, I'm wearing the pin of it. It is a colonial symbol of the skull and crossbones with a crown on top of the skull, floating over the skull. And it means that these kings are mortal. My king is immortal. And that's where the crown belongs. So it's No King But Christ, an old colonial thing. You can get the T-shirts and merch now at glennbeck.com. Because I agree, no kings. But I don't think they mean that. Because they don't have God as their king. Who do they serve?
It's such a weird world. So the left is trying to tell us they don't want too much power in government.
I know.
I'm trying to understand exactly. You've been begging and pleading for it for as long as I've been alive.
Yeah.
You've done everything you can to expand that power constantly.
You're trying to dismantle the Supreme Court and add Supreme Court justices.
Right.
I mean, everything they say that Donald Trump is doing, they're doing. And now, they talk about violence on the streets, except they're encouraging more violence on the streets. They're electing people in Virginia. Virginia, this cannot stand. Churches, if you are not pounding the pulpits to say get out and vote in Virginia, you are definitely part of the problem. You've got to get the vote out. You cannot have a governor and an attorney general who are calling for the blood of children.
This is.
I can't believe I have to say
I
that.
know.
What a weird sentence. I know.
It was.
The world has gotten safer. It hasn't gotten safer. It's just gotten closer. Every trail, every front door, every late night run reminds you that safe just isn't a given anymore. And while some people choose to carry lethal force and have every right to do so, there's a growing number who just want something that will stop the threats that's legal everywhere. My son or daughter at 18 can carry it, and that is the Byrna compact launcher. It comes in a non-lethal CO2-powered launcher that fits in your hand like confidence itself. It looks just like a gun. You can get it with the orange or just all black. But it fires pepper or kinetic projectiles, also tear gas. And it will disable an attacker long before they get to you close, giving you time to escape, call for help, control the situation without turning it into a tragedy. Legal in all 50 states, no permits are required, and it is simple to operate and store safely. Byrna is not about fear. It's about options, responsibility, and preserving life. Sometimes the difference between panic and peace of mind is having the right tool at reach. Go to Byrna, byrna.com/Glenn, Byrna.com/Glenn.
Sign up for the email newsletter at glennbeck.com. It's free. glennbeck.com.
Welcome to the Glenn Beck program. We're glad you're here. Thank you so much for listening. What are your thoughts on the Politico story, Stu? There's a story in Politico about the young Republicans. Just some of it is very disturbing. Some of it, I think it's just stupid kids making really bad jokes.
Yeah. I think there's a mix. I think you're right. Some of it is really
bad. Really bad.
Some of it is just, jokes that are just trying to be dark and. At
least that's what I hope it is.
Yeah, I think some of it quite clearly is. Some of it is really bad. Again, some of the people in there are saying that they don't think these are authentic messages as well. It's worth at least noting. I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Here's an idea. Don't post anything like that.
Don't
ever post anything like that. And if you see people posting like that, make sure you're on the record. That's not cool, man. Don't do that. It's not cool.
Yeah, I think there is there's some people in there that just seem like actual racists. There's some people
they
in there.
Exist.
Yeah, certainly. Some people in there who just seem like they're trying to make dark jokes and trying to be edgy. And that's a very common instinct for particularly young males, I would say, that they think they need to be the edgiest and the toughest. I'm a tough guy and all that stuff. And it doesn't always manifest itself this way, thankfully. But it is a pretty common dumb thing that young people do. You shouldn't do it.
You really shouldn't put it in writing, especially. Well, I'd never hire any of these people. I would not get close to any of these people.
Look,
can't.
I do think that what they're trying to make out of this is a little ridiculous. These are basically a bunch of people and their glorified interns for young Republican groups saying bad things. That's not good.
No.
And there is a sign of an underbelly. Of the very online fringy right that this sort of stuff is happening in, and I think it's a growing problem and a bad problem. However, let's not overstate what's going on here. These are people that have absolutely no effect on your life. With Jay Jones, we're talking about a person who wants to be the attorney general of a state. By the way, who wasn't even doing it among friends. He wasn't joking about this among friends. No. He was talking about this to someone on the other side who continually said, I don't like when you say these things, put up a fight and said, I know you're serious. You keep saying this over and over again, even when I tell you to stop. That is a totally different sound. It's a total distraction technique for the left, right? They're looking for something to try to reverse the flow of what's going on in Virginia. And I get that as a political tactic. This is probably a good way to go, as good as any other thing they have to go to. But while it does indicate, I think, an issue, it is not significant to really anyone's life.
But I am concerned, and I talked to J.D. Vance about this yesterday. He is concerned as well about this growing anger on the right with disenfranchised men, and concerned about where this is coming from, what is pushing it. Because once you get into blind anger, everything changes.
Yeah, and I first of all, I totally agree with what you just said. I think that is a real problem. Secondarily, what I read in those messages was not blind anger. It was flippant, at times racism, at times anti-Semitism, at times just people making dark jokes about trying to be edgy, and some of it was even, there's one joke in there, if I can't remember the exact context, it was something, someone made a joke of we don't want to get a Hitler in there, and the response was, well, we're going to lose the Kansas delegation then. That's a joke at the expense of Kansas, right? That's not a joke. I don't know. At least that's how I read it. At the end of the day, this is it is a story, and I think there is a tie to something that is concerning. The fact that there's a bunch, we highlight and talk about people on the left that are constantly. We had on October 7th, people in the squares all over New York City celebrating the Intifada.
Yeah.
Intifada. Wait, Intifada. Yes, I get it back. One of them's a frittata. It's an egg dish. The other one, I get it confused. My point is, the frittata, they were all out there talking about the frittata. This is something that was happening on October 7th with thousands of people and like the total shoulder shrug from everybody in the mainstream media. The fact that there are a couple of lunatics that were making bad jokes and saying at times really legitimately bad racist and anti-Semitic things is a concern. It's just not a concern anywhere near the level of the things we talk about 10, 15, 20 times a day. The things that they deny exist.
Correct. Here's the thing that I am concerned about, that we need to watch with the disenfranchised youth. I don't know if you remember, but in early September, the 4th through the 9th, in Nepal, the government decided that they were going to ban 26 media platforms, the social platforms, because there was a problem. And, there's corruption, and the people were starting to stand up against it, and it was mainly the youth, the Gen Z people. And so the students went to Discord and Instagram groups, and they started protesting, marching on the streets, and a full-fledged Gen Z, now listen to this, a full-fledged Gen Z flagless, leaderless digital revolution happened in Nepal. Full regime change. Okay? First leaderless digital revolution. Madagascar was next and just ended. What's the date today? 14th? 15th. Yesterday. Just ended yesterday. Again, the same thing happened, organized by Gen Z Madagascar, a Facebook group. They used exactly the same techniques in Nepal. It just ended yesterday. Full regime change. Okay? Gen Z, leaderless. Does that sound familiar to leaderless? Who's leaderless in the country?
No, clearly, yeah, it's not even an organization.
I know. It doesn't even exist. Mozambique, the same. Indonesia going on now. Kenya going on now. Morocco going on now. This is another attempt at the Arab Spring, which was, again, a leaderless group that changed the Middle East. This is happening, and it is led by angry Gen Z. And it has to be, Gen Z has to not be silenced. They have to be listened to. We have to recognize that, especially the men in Gen Z, the young men, they don't feel like they have a future. They don't, I mean, they can play by the rules, go to school, but then what? They're going to work, for a job that they hate, that probably is not going to be there in a few years. They just don't feel like they have a future. And the left is doing everything they can to convince them that everything is stacked against them. And it's not. Everything is actually stacked in your favor right now for the first time. We never had. Stu, did we ever feel we had the power to change things in Washington, D.C. growing up? To scale? I didn't think we had it until Donald Trump got in.
That's an interesting question. I mean, I guess you had those moments of hoping that you can change things.
Correct.
But
things are changing now. Remember how hard it was for the Tea Party? Mm-hmm. Things are changing now. And that is part of social media. It's part because we all worked hard and we were waking people up. And now is not the time to lose hope in the future. Now is the time to gain hope in the future. There is a lot of amazing things that are changing right now. And you can be a part of it. And we have to be a part of it. It's the ones who are on the streets telling you can't do it. Everything's stacked against you. You'll never make it because the authoritarians are out to get you. I got news for you. There are authoritarians on both sides. There are authoritarians that want to control your life. But you're going to have to sign up for that. You're going to have. they're going to need you to sign up for it. It's like the digital passports. If you decide, if the countries over in Europe decide, no, we're not going to do that, the government, what are they going to do? They're going to lock everybody up? You just have to be aware of what your lines are and what you're willing to do and not willing to do. And then recognize that you as a group, a big group, if we can grow this group large enough, they need your permission to do these things. Why didn't we have the Patriot Act, in 1990, what was it, 7? That thing was written? We didn't have it. It wouldn't pass Congress. All of that legislation was written before September 11th. They wanted all of those tools before September 11th. It wouldn't pass because the people wouldn't give permission. They waited for a crisis. The crisis happened, and they were like, dust that thing off, Patriot Act, rename it, Patriot Act. They renamed it the Patriot Act, and we gave them permission to do it. We have to stop giving them permission to do these things in our name. And that's how you change things, but not by getting bitter and angry. That is what's going to cause bloodshed on the streets, and that's what causes the theory I've talked about for a long time, bottom up, top down, and inside out. They put people up at the top that are willing to propose, draconian measures, put them at the top. Then they cause the street to rise up, and they have all of their people in the streets. This is color revolution. They get everybody on all their crazies in the street to rise up to threaten the government. Then the government has to respond to that because the people are going, we can't live like this anymore. The government responds. If it is a government that is not with the street people, they immediately say it's a dictatorship. If it is a government with the people on the street, if it was a Democratic government and they were causing all this trouble, the government would come down, not punish any of those people per se, and they wouldn't say it was a dictatorship, but it would be a dictatorship. And then everything is turned inside out. Then the Constitution is lost and all of that. You have to know that's the game being played on you. This is a giant psyop that is happening on the American people. And if you're aware of it, it loses its power. More in just a second. Let me tell you about Blinds.com. Every home project starts the same way with good intentions and a tape measure. And then when it comes to window treatments, there's no reason to sweat it because Blinds.com makes it really simple. They're the #1 online retailer for custom blind shades and shutters, and they walk you through the whole process step by step. You can shop online, upload photos of your windows, and even get free design help from real experts, not chatbots or random salespeople. They help you pick the perfect look, the perfect fit, and then they guarantee it. If you measure wrong, they replace it for free. Tons of styles, colors, and materials, and you can completely change the look of your home without leaving your couch, and you'll save a fortune compared to all of those in-home consultations. So don't stare at the bare windows any longer. Give your home a fresh start with Blinds.com, the easiest, smartest way to cover windows and uncover savings. Right now, Blinds.com is offering you $50 off when you spend $500 or more. Just use the promo code Glenn at checkout. It's a limited time offer. Rules and restrictions do apply. See Blinds.com for details. Blinds.com.
Keep your powder dry and your conscience clear. This is Glenn Beck.
Buying a home is supposed to be one of the safest investments you'll ever make. It's yours until someone decides to steal it, of course. And the worst part is they don't even need to step foot on your property to do it. All it takes is one forged signature and one digital form, and a thief can transfer your deed and take out loans against your equity and honestly just disappear, leaving you to clean up a mess that you didn't make. Home title fraud is real. It's growing faster than most homeowners realize. And by the time you find out something's wrong, it's usually from the bank, not the police. And it's fixing it, can be months and years of your time and God knows how much money and effort. That's why Home Title Lock exists. They monitor your title around the clock, watching for any signs of tampering, changes, new liens, anything like that. If your title is touched, you're alerted immediately. And their team of experts steps in to help restore your home's rightful ownership before things spiral. Think of it as a digital security system for your most important asset, the one your family depends on. You already lock your doors. You already set your alarm every night. This is just the same thing. It's just for the online world where property crimes are happening right now. AI is a big part of this as well. And AI is changing the world in a million different ways, but don't let it change the name on your home's title. Go to HomeTitleLock.com, HomeTitleLock.com. Get ahead of this. Stop it before it starts. HomeTitleLock.com. Use the promo code BLAZE. It's HomeTitleLock.com. The promo code is BLAZE.
I don't know if you saw the new book that's coming out from Charles Murray. We got to get him on the air. This guy's fascinating. He wrote probably his most famous book is The Bell Curve, where he talks about what the problem is in America, how the elites and the middle class are separating. And this is back in the 1980s. And he showed that, back in the 1950s, people married, in different classes, et cetera, et cetera. So there could be somebody who went to Harvard marrying, somebody who didn't go to college at all. And now everybody is kind of congregating, the Ivy League marries Ivy League, et cetera, et cetera. And he talked about what a problem that was going to be in the future. And he's turned out to be very right. But he just wrote a new book. What's it called, Stu? Reconsidering God or something?
Taking religion seriously, I think it's called. Yes, taking religion seriously. He
said the younger generation has become spiritually bankrupt and consumed by technology and social media and desperate for something bigger than itself. Charles Murray says this has happened to him for much of his life, and he is, in his new book, Taking Religion Seriously, he said he was one of the well-educated and successful people who religion had just become irrelevant, but all of that changed. And he began to he said, tiptoe towards religiosity with a series of nudges. And it is eventually now toppled all of the things he used to believe in about religion. And there is a big change happening in the world. It's not just here in America, but there is, I think Charlie Kirk made us all aware of this and pushed it down the road a great distance. But there is a real awakening that is happening in America and in the rest of the world. And I think that is a very, very good thing. If it is happening in your life, please pursue it. Please pursue it.
Yeah, in most cases, yeah. I will say Sundays, like if you're going to come to Jesus, come together in a carpool situation, because the parking situation is getting ridiculous at church. It's too far. I don't want to walk that far. So if you're coming to Jesus, come in a group and maybe a minivan, rent a minivan.
What about? Don't you go to one of those mega churches that have the little Disney cars?
No, but they. Yeah. I mean, I'm open to that.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone wants
I've
to
gone to a couple of mega churches because Tanya and I will sometimes go to church on Saturday as well as Sunday. We go to another church and we go to this with some friends. We go to this church and they've got these little trams. Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, it's like you get out of the car, the tram's there. You don't want to walk. I'm like, nope. Jesus wouldn't want me to walk.
Right, he was the one walking on water. He can get in the tram.
Right, I get in the tram. He can do all that walking and stuff.
Yeah, so please, there's only it's warm here still in Texas. There's only so much walking and sweating I want to do.
That's
I'm really
great.
excited for your transition and everything, but
you sound like a great greeter. You know what I mean? Did you come in a minivan? Do it next time, or we don't want you here. Great church greeters.
Thank you very much.
Perfect.
This is Glenn Beck.